Just wanted to make a quick note. Our audio does cut in and out in this episode a little bit. We're using an interview base, I guess, online, and it seems to not work the best, but it's all we had at the moment.
Yeah, we couldn't quite get a completely stable connection with the people we were talking to. And while most of their audio comes through, it does get a little spotty.
Mm-hmm. Near the end, we asked them if there was anything they could hope for the future, what would it be? And it's really hard to hear what Max and Tabby say. So I just wanted to really quick try and let you know what they said, what we were able to hear if you weren't able to. So basically, Max and Tabby talked about wanting a future where everybody was accepted, and that's what we all want, right? A place where everybody can be accepted, and it doesn't matter who you love or how you love. And when it comes to, Max made a comment about how a lot of corporations these days will put up a pride flag for the month of June and then immediately take it down and be like, let's put that under the carpet. We don't want to talk about it. So having, gayness accepted by not just your family and friends as normal, but as normal to the government, as gross as that sounds, but it's important. And just to have it integrated into everything, because we are here. Hi, we should be involved. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that is what they wanted, what they said, in case you weren't able to hear for the poor quality in the audio.
Yeah. And even it might not seem like a revolutionary thing to say, obviously. We should be accepted. We should be at the table. But it is an important thing to say because we aren't all the time. We're not most of the time. Right now we get a month a year to be publicly acknowledged as present. Mm-hmm. But there's no actual agency.
Yeah, there's more progressiveness in the media and in society, but not as much as, you would hope. The gay community is still struggling a lot when it comes to basic things like healthcare and wanting to get married and having kids and adopting or traveling all over the world. It's really difficult for some people. Some people, it's perfectly fine. It's easy, but there are people in the community who need help and a future where everyone is accepted and it's not seen as something weird and unnatural, creepy, gross, whatever. It would be
it would be a big deal. It would be a drastic change in our reality, and it's one we need to see.
Yeah. So there you go. Just want to make a quick note. Also, Tabby said she felt a little uncomfortable plugging her own stuff. So guess what? I can plug it for her, and it would be fine. You can follow Tabby on TikTok at Tabby_cat13. And you can find Max at Fallout9 on TikTok. And Tabby is also on Instagram, Lunar Fairy Cosplay.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And today we're talking about gays. I'm talking about the gays. Seeing as Jess and I consider ourselves to be some, we wanted to talk about Pride Month, and instead of doing anything too detached and high-minded, we decided a way we would enjoy it more would just be to talk to some people who are close to us and see how their experiences with their sexual identity, yes, sexualities came to be and how that all went, and share our own. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little chat more than anything. We're not going to be, judging Pride Month because that's a wild thing to do.
Except for we can judge the super straights.
Super straights, fuck them.
Okay, well, Tabby and Max, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Tabby. This is my fiance, Max.
Hi.
Alright, so, what am I doing? You're the one who wrote down the questions.
Okay, well, I have a few questions here, only like 5 or so, but they're pretty broad. So my first one was just, when you were figuring out your sexuality, did it happen gradual? Like, was it little by little you kind of started realizing things? Or was it like, did it hit you like a bus? Like, were you like, oh, I'm not straight all of a sudden? Like, you just wake up one morning and you see everything in rainbows.
You woke up one day and realized, oh no, I tanned too much, now I'm a gay.
I'll let you first.
So, for me, it was a little more gradual coming to the realization of it. Realizing that I just wasn't into just male or female. It didn't really matter to me at one point. Really, because it came off as casual dares at some point with a bunch of friends of mine where literally we were 13, 14, we were like, hey, I dare you to literally, and I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say right now.
You can yeah. Say eat ass, suck a dick, anal gobleting someone, I don't care. Don't do that last one. Don't put glass in someone's butthole.
Alright. So, first night I finally realized that I kind of enjoyed it was the night that I just blew off 4 of my best friends.
Hey, what are friends for, you know?
So Max, the thing I like most about that is just that you're like, well, I didn't really know, if I was gay or not, and then I sucked all my friends off, and I was like, yeah, I'm gay. Like, that's such a leap. That's such a... You went from step A to step Q real quick. I respect it.
Then there's me, who was so far in denial, it literally took me up until about 6 months ago to realize that I was pan, even though I've pretty much been in love with another girl pretty much the past, 2 years. I was really far in the denial, because I knew that I had liked another girl for a very long time, and Max knew about that. And my best friend knew about that, and she swore up and down since I met her that I was not straight. And it took up until about 6 months ago.
Before you came to that realization, but you were having, those ideas of well, that girl's something. How did you rationalize that, just out of curiosity?
I didn't know how to deal with it because I knew I really liked that person, and I thought that person was very attractive, and just thought it was a one-off thing. And it was only that one person up until I had met one other person after.
I was just curious, because I know I've talked to people who are like, I'm the straightest person on earth, but wow, they're crazy hot. I'm very attracted to them. Like, that, what do you mean? That's not exactly straight.
Yeah. I've...
I had to realize it, though, because Max and I literally would check out the same genders when we would go to the mall, and I still would claim straight.
Yeah, I've known people who are like, if I were gay, I would totally have a girl crush on the lead singer from Evanescence, or I had a girlfriend in high school, but I wasn't really into it.
And yes, I would screw her.
I mean, Evanescence, come on.
Yeah, Evanescence. Ali, do you want to share yours?
Sure.
Do you want to answer the question?
I would love to answer the question. So my answer comes with weirdly young sexual exploration.
Well, I mean, kids don't really think about that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, of course not. But point is, when I was like very little, like single digits, 5, 6 years old, for some reason my friends and I would play games like Truth or Dare that led to what we would also call sicko time, because we knew it was, according to the Christian roots of the entire America, wrong. And all we would do is just pee-pee touch for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. It's just a thing. And I remember some adult caught us, and everyone got into real big trouble. And that was the first moment where I was like, well, I'm not gay. I don't want to be in trouble. And so that, I'm not gay. I don't want to be in trouble. Basically, was the baseline for my sexuality for a long time. And as it progressed into like high school, middle school, high school area, I felt a little like attraction here and there to certain people. And it sort of culminated with this boy that I met in high school who I was actually pretty attracted to. And things did not go well. They made an advance that I was not prepared for. And it made me very scared and uncomfortable until later on in, like, honestly, like college years, where I was like, well, I don't think I really care if they're a man or not. I just like certain feminine qualities, and I like these things in people, and a lot of times that's definitely not some qualities in a woman. So I slowly shifted towards being, well, not straight. And eventually I just kind of found, personally, I live myself as bisexual. I found that label fits me in the way that I describe it. I've always described it as being attracted to my gender and to not my gender. And I know that people argue about that all the time, but I don't give a fuck. It's my sexuality, so fuck off, everyone.
Wow, aggressive.
I am an aggressive man. But what I mean by that is just like, even if that isn't the agreed upon definition by everyone, even though it is one of the more popular ones, it doesn't really matter if whatever.
It feels right.
Yeah. Either way, I'm willing to suck dick, and that's what really matters. That's what we're really talking about today.
Subject of today. Are you willing?
But yeah, so it was weird because at points in my life where I not so much experimented, but at least felt or had some sort of connection to a gay sexual experience or gay emotional experience, it was always undercut by some sort of authority or some sort of negative interaction that led me to just kind of push it away until later on. And weirdly enough, being with you and being in college and just being out and about,
being with me, Jess, not being with.
Yes.
Yeah, we are in a group, in a group relationship.
Yes, being specifically with Jess, just because, despite us being a very heteronormative outward relationship, it was very willing to explore into other sexualities, and it helped me kind of publicly define my own sexuality, which is very nice. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Dating you made me gayer.
You know, when I was in middle school and high school, my whole career, I only probably dated like 3 boys. And each time afterwards they would come out as not straight, like some form of gay. And so my friends would always joke that like, oh, there was something wrong with me, you know, because it was the good old days. So they'd joke that, you know, I just made guys gay. Unfortunately, Ollie is just gay enough.
Just gay enough.
Just straight enough, too.
You guys are a strong level because, one, Ali, I relate to you because being with Max made me realize my sexuality. And Jess, I had a same scenario. I had either had every guy had been willing to come out as gay or come out as bi, and everyone thought it was me. So I understand.
Yeah.
I honestly think that there's a thing to this, because if you look over my past relationships, if you Facebook search my ex-girlfriends, a staggering, truly unprecedented percentage of them are either very gay or not even women anymore. Meaning, I feel like there's something in us when we are queer that kind of senses the queerness in someone else and is like, you.
Yeah.
I might jive with you.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with you.
I feel like that has to be a thing.
And like, when you're that young, you know, those feelings can get confused as like romantic or like I want to date you feelings, and not just for some reason we go well together. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like that's definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm. So my next question was, how'd you feel when you realized it? Like, were you accepting of your sexuality, or was it like were you angry about it? Were you, like, I know, Tappy, you said you were in denial, but once you actually finally realized it, were you like, okay, I'll work with this.
I'll work with this.
I'll work with this.
More if I did accept it, because I claim demisexual and pansexual, but I'm more pan-romantic and demisexual. Demisexual is where you don't have a sexual connection with someone unless you have some emotional connection. You don't have any sexual connection prior. And that's where my sex life has been a lot harder in any either girl, male, whatever, because it's just not there unless the emotional side is there. And so it really didn't make sense to me until I realized that I was clicking with my friend. And that's why. That's when I realized pan, because the gender had no play in it whatsoever.
Yeah. When I finally came to the realization, I guess, because mine was also pretty gradual and up and down and roller coaster ride-esque, I went through a lot of, like, oh my god, I'm, like, this is so sinful, like, this is bad, I can't do this, to, like, it's not that bad, like, it is what it is, that's how we're made. But, yeah, now that I've accepted my sexuality, I am happier. It's easier now.
Very much so.
You know what's funny? I've always, even when I was like, I'm a straight man. Even back then, I was always strongly pro-gay, very aggressively pro-gay. Everyone should be gay, because that's just who I was. And I think coming to sort of the acceptance of my own sexuality was just kind of like, nice, cool. I was right.
Ooh, here's a good one. This is one that I wrote down, but I've just thought of it. So, in your past, you know, whether it be when you were 12 or 17 or like 6 months ago, is there a specific moment that you look back on and you're like, man, I should have known then?
So, I would say mine wasn't a definitive date, but more so a time span. Probably between 2013, 2015 era. It should have hit me a lot sooner than it did, simply due to the fact that I was looking around and seeing, she's pretty good looking, but,
Dude, she's with us too!
It's so weird, isn't it? Like, looking back at some of the things that you used to do before you realized and being like, well, I mean, it was pretty obvious. Like, I went through a span where my mom really wanted me to date one of my friends. He's still one of my best friends, but she wanted me to date him. His grandparents wanted me to date him. And at one point, I told her, like, hey, stop asking me all these questions about him and boys and everything. And she just got so frustrated. And she was like, what? Are you a lesbian? And I got, like, instinct. I got really scared. And I was like, no, ew. Like, I was so worried that, like, I didn't even know what I was worried about at the time, because at the time, I was like, gay is bad and makes me uncomfortable. But I also had the biggest thing. This is embarrassing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to reveal my truth. I had the biggest crush on Amanda Bynes, and she's the man. And I said it was fine because she dressed up like a boy, so I was still straight.
Yeah, when she looks like a boy, it's totally straight.
It's fine. She looks nothing like a boy, though, in that movie.
Yes, I can somewhat relate to that, because actually, even to this day, since I'm technically not out to my mother yet, I actually still get asked that question of, you're not gay, are you? That question to this day.
And he's with a woman.
And she's been asking that question ever since 2010.
Man, yeah. I feel that. If I weren't married to Ollie now, I would probably still be getting those questions.
If I wasn't getting married to Max, I'd probably be with a woman.
Yeah.
Man,
you go, Ollie.
I was just gonna say, Max, this one's, well, actually, this is directed to everybody, but I do like men, but I typically don't like very masculine men, just because excessive masculinity is not something I'm a big fan of. I've never been a part of it myself. I'm not particularly hyper masculine, except for, every once in a while, it's like, I want to arm wrestle someone.
I want to throw an axe.
Like real dumb stuff every once in a while, but like never like, I'm a man. Just like, I want to do something stupid. But I've never, been attracted to it either. And now that I'm more attracted to, what I am, to what I see and what I do, and just trying to accept it, I've noticed that, like, I'll look at a guy and be like, he's attractive, but I don't want to know anything about him, because men, on average, suck. It's hard to reconcile that.
See, mine's really funny because I want to say either a freshman or I think I had already had my first kiss, so I would have to say I was junior. And I don't really talk to this person anymore, unfortunately, just because we were apart, but I was, at the time, my best friend's first kiss. And she was female. Now, I enjoyed it. And I chopped it up to, I wanted to be her first kiss so she didn't lose that experience to someone that would break her heart. Mind you, I still believe that. But I enjoyed it, and I should have realized it, but I didn't.
The mind plays tricks on you.
Mm-hmm. I think probably when one of the many times I should have realized it was when I was like, I don't know, 15. I was looking at weird porn on the internet, and it was furries, but it was very gay, and I was like, it's furries, it's drawn, it's hentai, it's whatever. There's nothing gay about that. It's a cartoon.
I feel like if you watch hentai, you're not straight. You're at least a little.
So straights can't watch hentai?
No, the straights cannot watch hentai.
my best friend had always told me that I wasn't straight. And she's also like, you enjoy Yuri and Yaoi. Like, you're somewhere in the spectrum. And she's been telling me that literally since, I think, 2014 when I met her. And yeah, pretty much within the first year of us knowing each other, she was telling me that I was not straight in some form of matter.
Honestly, almost everyone I've ever dated at one point or another has told me they thought I was gay before we started dating. Which is funny because they still dated me, but that's not really the point. The point is I got that sort of affirmation of like, are you sure? All the fucking time.
I mean, how many times have I told you if you weren't with me, I would question your sexuality?
At this point, usually.
So the next question I had written down, we've already kind of skimmed it a little, but coming out. So, I haven't. I mean, I guess now I kind of have. Like, I have to you guys, I have to basically the world, except for immediate core family, for many reasons that I imagine a lot of people can relate to. But, they are not too hot on the gays. They're very religious, very conservative, and I know that coming out to them would upset a very fine balance that we already have. So I have not come out to anyone. I would like to. I would like to come out to my family because I want them to know the full me, but at the end of the day, I know sometimes you just don't need to. Like, it's okay to keep that to yourself and to the people you want to share it with, like who or you need to share it with. Keep that as like a special thing, I suppose. Ollie, have you come out to anyone or to your family?
Anyone who knows me knows I'm not straight. Everyone knows I'm bisexual or what have you. Aside from my mom and dad, and that's for similar reasons, but mostly just because there's no point in telling them. I don't really tell them much about my personal life, and I never really have, and I don't know why exactly, but I just haven't. And I know for a fact that it's a thing that if it comes up, it'll cause annoyance. And it's not like I'm like, well, I don't want to be shunned or disowned or whatever. It's just I don't want to fucking deal with it. Yeah. It's gonna be annoying and stupid.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, and like if at one point we get a boyfriend and start dating and it becomes very serious, like, yeah, I'll tell them. But right now, cool, I'll tell them. They'll be like, you're not gay, you're dating a woman. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I guess that was pointless to tell you then.
Yeah, it's yes, I agree. Right now, it's pointless for my parents to know as well. But Tabby and Max, have you two come out to your families or to anyone important to you?
Yes, I go closeted to most of my family for reasons of my dad's side is very, very religious. So most of them do not know. My dad does know. He took it better than I expected. He wasn't happy, but he accepted it more or less along the lines of I'm with a man, I am marrying a man, that's all that matters to him. My mom, however, heard me out, listened to me, and I told her the way I saw it was I was blessed with the ability to love without walls, without seeing judgment, and she thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. I was happy with it, I accepted it, and I loved it. I was very fortunate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm glad that you're able to come out like that.
Oh, better so.
What about you, Maxie boy?
So, I am, to those that are close to me, friends mostly only. We have yet to come out to any family members at all. Most of my family is fairly religious. My family is very accepting when it comes to, hey, You can be over there and be gay. You're cool over there.
Well,
Well,
bye.
Well, also one of them trans as well, which my mom is very accepting of him now, for the most part, but still calls him by their original name.
Yeah, they're dead.
Which we try to get her back out of.
Oh, I correct her all the time.
And the only reason why I haven't done it is because he still believes in a lot of older, more healthy. Time is also
very religious.
A lot more religious. You probably would actually cut off vacation. So.
Oh yeah, I'm good on your parents never knowing.
Yeah, I think it's hard sometimes, especially when you see there's a lot of folks who have come out to their parents or loved ones, and it's gone so well and like so beautifully. But then you see some people who it's like completely broken off that relationship. And so you never know really how they're going to take it until you decide to do it or not. But it's, I feel like I have a hope for our generation and for the one after us that it won't, like, coming out won't be a thing, you know? Like, it won't be something you'll have to do. It'll just be like, oh, mom, dad, I brought home my partner. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever, you know?
There's no stigma.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the only fear the child should have in terms of the romance is to bring home literally anyone, because, dear God, having a relationship is horrifying. Everyone's gonna get hurt. Everyone's gonna cry. And I don't want to fucking deal with that shit.
But Ollie, you have to agree. If your kid is straight, you're gonna be a little disappointed.
If they're completely straight, quote unquote, I will be exceptionally disappointed. Yes. Listen, everyone says unconditional love for everyone, for your children, or whatever. But I have conditions. If they can't be a full-on jock. Fuck that shit. I can't deal with that. I don't know how to take care of a jock. They can't be completely straight, because that's wild.
Yeah, being straight, that's weird.
Before Max and I started dating, like before he got into college and met all of us, he was literally that. He was a jock.
I'm not gonna deny that. You know, I played multiple sports, so I came from that technically, but you know.
Hey, you can dip your toe in the jock pool. I used to do wrestling and whatnot, which, let's just quick reminder, the gayest sport to ever exist.
Mabel. Let's be honest though, a boy's locker room is one of the gayest, things.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Mabel wants to say hi.
Pretty kitty.
Oh, she's gonna ruin this audio.
Mabel, stop rubbing on the microphone.
She's purring. She likes it. Nurse. Oh God.
I think your cat is telling you she's coming home.
Okay, we're good.
Fucking cats, man. No respect.
So, since, I guess, accepting the fact that, you know, you're part of the community and coming out to the people who matter, has life changed at all? Like, improved? Or has it, you know, stayed the same, gotten worse?
Not too much. It makes me a little more sad now that I've accepted it, though, because, like, I want to be able to, like, fully, like, express myself. And, like, on Facebook, I still can't. But, I mean, I have some outlets. Like, I have full ability to express myself through my TikToks and my Instagram. For the most part on Instagram. I have some of your family on Instagram. I have found bliss of being able to fully express myself through my TikTok.
Yeah. I kind of relate to that in the fact that, like on Facebook, I don't do anything. Like sometimes I'll put, you know, a funny political post or something, but I never go like too deep into things that I actually do or like anything I have to say about my life. But Instagram, I feel better about because nobody in my family follows me on there. And when it comes to the podcast, like, they were like, oh, we're so happy you're doing a podcast. Like, we'll listen to it. We love it. But, you know, like, they don't. You know they don't because...
Otherwise, they would have said some shit.
Otherwise they would have been like, hey, I like this episode where this happened. But the only people in my family who listened to the podcast or watched our YouTube videos were my nephews. And honestly, they're the only ones who I'm like, yeah, little man, your aunt is this way. It's okay.
Well, someone in their life has to be like, hey, you know, if you happen to be gay, it's all right.
Come live with me. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, life hasn't changed that much except for being more okay with who I am. And I think being with Ollie and being able to explore this part of me made me a better person because now I can see things from different people's point of view. I have lost friends, not because of being gay, but because of like just getting older and growing. But their opinions on homosexuality has vastly changed since we were younger. And so it's just like, looking back, it's like, okay, if we met today, we definitely wouldn't be friends. Ollie, has your life changed at all?
Oh, no, I'm just continued to be me. The only difference is, again, I'm just make more gay jokes, except they're different.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm a part of a fun new community.
Well, actually, that's not true. Sometimes I'm more angry, and not because of whatever, but just like especially when you're bi or pansexual or something along the spectrum of queerness that isn't, you know, the big boys.
Like the big boys.
Yeah, the big corporations, the big gay,
the LGBT.
But even then, the BT doesn't really get a whole lot.
BT?
Right? Yeah. Anyways, when you are specifically pansexual or bisexual or maybe asexual,
when you're a subclass, when you're a subclass gay,
there's a lot of like weird hate from other gays where it's like you guys get discriminated against. How the fuck you about to be discriminated against someone right now?
Yeah.
Like, this makes no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you're not really gay, you're dating a dude. Or, you're not really gay, you're dating a chick.
Or, like, once you do, you know, end up with a woman or whatever, so it's like, you're finally admitted you're a lesbian. It's like,
you
nah,
chose,
bitch.
Finally, yeah.
Like, I hate that shit.
I've been blessed because, like I said with my TikTok, I haven't seen that side of the spectrum of the hate. However, I have, on the other hand, a lot of other women that have come to me, like late teens, like 19, 18, and be like, hey, I think I'm pan, or hey, I think I'm bi. How did you figure this out? And it's been really cool. It's been a cool process to get to talk with people, get their experiences, and try to help them in their journey of trying to figure themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I have one more question. It's kind of a generic question that, I don't know, you've probably heard a gazillion times, but if we were still teenagers, what would you tell yourself? Like, is there something specific you'd want to tell them when it pertains to sexuality?
Honestly, if I had to tell my teen self what he would go through and the things he'd figure out, I would say, take it easy, don't be crazy about it, just enjoy the time. Like, figure things out as you go, but take it easy next time.
That seems fair.
Take it easy.
time with how you learn things, because sooner or later it's coming at you a little too fast, and if you take it too fast, you may like it, but it might hit you a little harder than you think.
That's fair.
Yeah, totally fair. Ollie, anything you'd like to say to your 16-year-old self?
Honestly, it would just be a roadmap of yes, date that one. No, don't date that one. Yes, no. Actually try that one for once. That sort of thing. Just a guide. like an old Pokemon guide, except for who to date and when.
I think mine would be, there's nothing wrong with you, because I, for the longest time, was told that there was something wrong with me because I didn't have sexual urges as a teenager. I never thought I'd ever have sex. Ever. I never thought I'd ever feel anything. I thought it was because of my disability. And I would say, learn your worth before you jump into things, because I went through a lot of physical and emotional abuse as a teenager and did not realize it until I got into my 20s.
I think I would tell 16-year-old me to try to be happier and have more courage to do the things that I wanted and was scared to do. And not to worry about other people, and just to focus on my own well-being and my own happiness, even if it came to my parents. Yeah. We got deep there at the end.
Oh no, I just said I would make a roadmap.
Well, me and Tabby got deep.
Like I said, I was gonna plead the fifth on that one. I knew where that one was going.
Well, I don't know. I never hit that. It's that feeling of it feels wrong to be gay. It was just always, every time that I did something related to queerness, it had there was a very negative response. Mm-hmm. So it sort of, I don't know, linked in my mind as like something I don't want to experience. And once that got past that, it wasn't that much of a thing. Like, I never really experienced that, it's gross that I'm gay, or it's immoral, or this or that. It was just, I was uncomfortable, and then it wasn't uncomfortable. It was relaxing. So it's just different strokes, I suppose. Different experiences.
Yeah.
So we don't have any more questions that she wrote down, and we are running up on 30 minutes now, so we don't want to take too much longer. But I just wanted to ask you guys before you left, before we wrap up, now that the world is moving towards more acceptance of queerness in general, where do you hope to see this progress go? Because I know there's a lot of things that have been changing, and a lot of great changes have been made in terms of acceptance, in terms of representation. But it also feels like there's a lot that is being masked. Like, there's a lot of, like, well, we accept queerness, but only during June, There's a lot of stuff like that. And I was just wondering, where do you hope to see sexuality and gender go into the future?
I just want people to be accepted for who they are. That's all I've ever wanted, even outside of gender, and all I've ever wanted. I was raised by a lot of judgment and racism and discrimination. And honestly, I did not learn that from the people that I was experiencing it from. I've never seen walls, and I wish people would be the same.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, the biggest thing I'd want to see, at least as far as the future goes, is, like Tab said, I just wish people to be as they are, to be accepted as who they are. It shouldn't matter who you are. All that matters that you are. One, it shouldn't matter.
And I just want to be able to rep my flag and be happy about it. That's what I want.
I don't want just to see a corporate flag thrown in there once a month and be like, hey, we support you guys.
And people making money on it.
I hope that in the future we go towards, and this might be not controversial, but something that might make people unsure or uncertain or whatever. But I hope we progress towards a diffusion of LGBT in general, going away from like, this is my title, this is my identity or whatever, and more towards a diffusion of those desires. Like, I'm not bisexual. I like these things and these things. What I am is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's good or I'm not saying having an identity is bad. I love having my identity. I love when people love having their own. I just think a future where your identity is just who you are and what you do, and your sexuality is whatever you happen to look at that moment and enjoy. I think that's a more realistic and also accepting form of sexuality and gender and just experiencing life. Although that's not going to happen for a long, long, long time because people are fucking weird.
Well, yeah, but like for me, I think knowing that there's a word for it or like knowing what it is easier for me than just being like, oh, it's up in the air. Like I like knowing that like I can say I am a bisexual lady, you know, other than like, I don't know.
And that's important because right now we need that. Right now we need identifiers because people sometimes don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And they are.
It's almost like we need for you to have a label so we can feel comfortable around you.
Well, yeah, you also, for some people, you have to, for the world to feel comfortable around them, but also some people need it to feel comfortable themselves because everything around them is different or has a certain understanding of a norm, and they themselves don't fit that. So the only way they can feel normal is to find a community that has taken on a similar structure, a similar identification. That way they can find their normal.
It gives them an explanation of that what they feel is normal to some form of standard.
Yeah. And the only way that's ever going to not be a necessity is if normal is just nothing. There is no specific normal, which isn't going to happen.
Like normal is everything.
Exactly. And that's not going to happen until we break down a lot of other social barriers.
Preach.
But yeah, that I just wanted to ask about that just because there's a lot that could be improved within the community, with the way the community is seen in society, quote unquote. And I know that my personal view of the future, sometimes people don't exactly jive with, but that's still what I want.
Another thing I hope is at some point we can get to a standard of not having to sexualize people for their sexualities, because that is a thing, and it's quite awful sometimes.
Yeah. I agree. Like, oh, this person, it's only okay for them to be trans or a lesbian or a gay if I can, like, get off to it. And then when I'm done, it's gross, it's weird, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, like...
That comes from disabled pansexual woman, so that's why I stated that.
Right. Yeah, no, every single sexual desire you have is disgusting, and we should be ashamed of all of them, not just very specific ones.
That's the future I want. Everybody to be disgusted with themselves all the time.
Nah, I love sex. I think it's great. Not even in like a, ooh, sex, but in like I think it's a cool hobby.
It's a sport.
Like, I think some of the really, like, industrial, no, that's the
industrial?
wrong word. No, that's the wrong word. That is the wrong word. Some of the more quirky, some of the more less known kinks, some of the ones that people have to get a little industrious, have to figure out a way to make it work. I think are really interesting and really neat, and I just like to hear about them and learn about them. So I love sex, even in a non-sexual way, and just like this is a hobby and I like it kind of way.
People are interesting in that way.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? Sports. The industry. Yeah.
All right, so I got nothing else. You?
Yeah. That's it for me. You guys have anything you want to say, or
You can plug your TikToks.
yeah, you can plug anything you'd like, even your butts.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel awkward plugging things, so
Okay.
I mean, it's great. This was a lot of fun, and I think we both really appreciated this.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, and we're glad you guys came out
Yeah.
on Facebook with us.
And we hope everyone else has a good time coming out in general.
Yeah.
It's June and it's time to get gay. So
Yeah. Just also be safe about it.
that's all I got.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you.